The human population is now in the Anthropocene era of the Earth. Human impacts are the biggest cause of global change. We are now in charge of the planet and its future. We recognize that resources are not equally distributed. Some people, communities, or nations are using more and some less than their fair share. And the annual drawdown of many resources exceeds the capacity of the planet to supply them, what some commentators have called borrowing from our children and our future. We were inspired by the concept of contraction and convergence, a suggested way to stabilize atmospheric concentrations of greenhouse gases whilst promoting social equity with regards to climate change. We saw a need to explore this idea of equity in the light of biological planetary limits, an extended version of contraction and convergence. We began work on this area as the Converge project, an interdisciplinary research project funded by the European Union with 9 partners across 5 countries, including partners from industrialized nations such as Sweden, the UK and Iceland, transition economies such as Hungary, and rapidly industrializing nations such as India. We started by looking at what's already out there, communities that have taken steps on the path towards sustainability, products, services, policies. What mechanisms and tools do they use to bring them closer to their fair share? What mindsets are involved? Is it possible to measure and monitor the progress of these initiatives through using or developing indicators? We decided to call this movement towards fair shares within limits convergent globalization. Convergent globalization is a rights-based framework based on the principles every global citizen has the right to a fair share of the Earth's bounty and access to fundamental rights. It advocates social ecological justice, calling for wealth, well-being and consumption to converge across and within nations to a level that this biosphere can support. It's a democratizing framework, bringing people together that don't normally sit at the same table. The sciences of the Anthropocene show that the Earth and its societies are all part of one interdependent and limited system, in which increasingly the well-being and resilience of localities, nations and regions is dependent on the well-being of all. This realization calls for humanity to take responsibility and to recognize our mutual duties to each other and to our planet, and its capacity for supporting life. Convergent globalization is a process of moving towards similar levels of development for all people, but within planetary boundaries and finite resources. We propose convergence decision-making informed by science and grounded in an ethic that can be globally acceptable to both developed and developing nations and across different global belief systems. This involves change within all major global institutions to employ decision-making informed by convergence as a goal for humanity. This involves new forms of agency at other levels, such as the city, which we propose can use convergence decision-making. Our goal in the Converge project has always been to build up and present a body of natural and social science around this complex sustainability issue, and present a converged narrative to carry these ideas of post-normal and sustainability science forwards. All kinds of issues are coming up. How do you decide what is fair? Who owns common resources such as the atmosphere? And who can take responsibility for mitigating and even restoring damages to societies affected by environmental degradation? And is there an argument for a redistributive or predistributive approach to resources from a scientific, sustainability or environmental perspective? We invite you to join us at the Converge Observatory and Alliance to continue our research into convergent globalization and to put our burgeoning theories into practice.
We are one of the, I can say we are one of the few groups, maybe may not be a group like us to experiment on all these areas also in the field. So we could actually contribute to the success of this Converge team and also the project in a substantial way. This is what we feel.
Definitely this workshop helped me in collecting myself on such thoughts so that I can equip myself better.
It's useful. I think how to focus the problem on all sides, and I think it will be useful.
I think the farmers will definitely find it useful. We already have some good examples of sustainable food production.
I can implement in my own field, in my own home I can implement. No doubt in that. This workshop will be great.